All right, you asked for it. Norman here. This is a live react. Let's see if I can do a live note-taking react as well to Rob Hardy's latest post on the perils of niching down. Um, Immediately before I start, the title reminds me of a post that I did a long time ago. I did a while ago. Rel to be undefined. And to be undefined was definitely. Oh, actually, might as well just do this. Think about it. To be undefined was my battle against niching down. So I had very similar sentiments on being very anti against niching down because of just how sorry, my neck cracked there. Because of just how inhumane it is to actually specialize and sticking to the specialty. Like it's fine to have different specializations, but the fact that you don't give yourself the malleability to jump between different fields, etc., just makes your career a lot more rigid than it's meant to be, which is a very humane experience. So I'm really excited for this. You can read to read the fun on my site, but I am going to start right here. So let's begin. Yes, immediately going straight to the 1000 True Fans. I think I already have notes on this. Let me see. I don't think I wrote anything. Yeah, no, I think it was just mentions of the framework itself. Okay. I see a bit of resonance with Rob's previous work on building your own oasis on the internet, the corner of the internet. So let me just write this down and move this here. I don't know if I wrote. It might have been this one. In typical Rob fashion, what started out as a quick explainer exploded in thanks to the. Why am I not surprised? It's so Rob. I love it. I love it where you have a phrase or a thought, and then it just becomes a novel. Like you just novelize a fleeting thought. I tend to do that a lot myself, so I'll probably have like some notes to write about that. Here. Picking a topic and own it and specialize. I cringe at the word specialize. I'm always more leaning towards generalizing. I think I actually wrote that a bit in the post for to be defined. But specializing sounds like a very orderly answer to creating a career that makes sense. Because the reason why people like to specialize in the first place is because we somehow add more emphasis on the benefit of making sense of our careers by sticking to one thing so that other people can understand our value. But then, generalizing just seems more humane and that people can just pick their corners of understanding you or their impressions of you. I'm a very great example of that. Like, I am involved in different fields, and podcasting is probably the biggest one of them. But for me, the that's not the only thing that defines me. There's also my fiction, my stories, my talks in different fields, etc. So, yeah, obviously, like, like my spine tingles, and not in a good way. Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is just what I just, yeah, some parallels there. It's a lot more controllable and predictable. So you're adding order and structure to it, and it seems a good thing. And I remember reading about this from Rob's previous post on filmmaker freedom and breaking away from the industry. I remember the general sentiment of that writing back then to be a bit, what's the word for it? Melancholic, the way that Rob wrote it. Because I remember when you wrote the manifesto, and it was definitely a lot more emotionally empowering. But then the segments when he was talking about his time during this industry, it's always been um, less than content or happy because it felt like you're on this like hamster wheel of trying to keep up with everything. And yeah, specialization can do that to you. You get success, but at what cost? And I'll leave that as a future gunpowder, aka a question. You know, my favorite part about this is the fact that when you have the blank guy and then you see that all over Twitter, oh, it turns me off so much. I I try my best to meet people who really advocate for that title. Um, you're narrowing yourself down to one specific impression, and it makes me think that uh, it makes me question the level of substance in your career. So I would totally advise for anyone who is thinking to own something, the email marketing guy or the writing guy. Great, that's great. But please be other guys as well, because I want to know who you are beyond that. There has to be a reason why you pick a specific specialization rather, and it has to serve the humane attribute that compels you to continue being in this specialty. So there is something deeper than that. But if you're not showing it, then sometimes I think that you're masking or that you're not being honest. Oh, I like that. I'm going to quote that. Here's something that I resonate with. Um, when you specialize and you work towards something, it becomes less of a passionate activity and it becomes more of a duty or responsibility. It changes from you want to do this to you must do this. Because initially, when you choose to specialize in something or when you choose to act on a interest or one interest, you must have some kind of internal motivation, and that's perfectly fine. That's great. But then there's a transformation here. It changes from it changes from wanting to do something into chasing after something. Because now that you become the blank guy, you have to live up to that title every single day. Um, because we have inevitably assigned our identity and therefore our value to a specialty. And we don't want to do that. Because if your specialty just disappears, then who are you? And why would I remember you? And this is the thing, like, specialty narrows down the chance in which you become memorable as a person. And I would say that you can call it a hot take. I don't care. I believe in that. I don't want to remember someone as just one thing. I can remember that they have a primary interest, but I'm sure that there is a lot more substance and interest and likes in what they really really like and what they really really want to pursue. Even if it's a hobby, even if it's what they read, what they consume, But I don't want to know you as just one type of person and then remember you in that way. You are not born to be compartmentalized. You are born to be organically adaptable to different fields, even if it's with different motivations, different levels of interest and skill and all that. But it should capture your attention regardless. To say that you have 100% of your attention captured towards being one thing makes me question whether or not you really, really like it, or that you like it so much that it comes at a sacrifice of who you are as a person, as a human being. It's not like you were born and you had a childhood growing up doing email marketing and SEO. No, right? Like, so there has to be plenty more than that. Okay. The 100 or 1,000 true fans thing. Yeah, okay. I see the I see the split here. 1,000 where you wanted to do it's freely. This is the word here I would highlight. Like I wish Rob would be like, okay, yeah, here. I wish Rob made the font for free larger because true fans means you don't have to mask for someone to be loyal to you. In my notes, I call it a resident audience. They follow your message regardless of the medium that you're working in. And this is very apparent in podcasting because people think that you can only be a podcaster, a good podcaster, if you're just podcasting. No, you can also be a great podcaster if you're doing video and writing and live talks and keynotes and all that jazz. But people follow you regardless of the medium that you work in. And this, takes into consideration attention span, formats, time, and even interest, and even fields. A fan who is true to you means that they will follow you regardless of the interest that you pursue, even if it's a completely drastically different one. So free means you are free to choose to shift, and people will follow you. That's what it means by the substance of 1,000 true fans. The quality of it is a lot greater than people assume, which is why, yeah, niching I think is a good way to reach up to 1,000. But can you sustain 1,000 by just sticking to the same one? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. As a person, I would never be a true fan of someone if they're just sticking to one thing. I'd get bored. And you don't want your fans to get bored of you. Oh, oh, Robin's calling me out. Yeah. Um, the way that I would frame this, it means the same thing, but the way that I would frame it is that my name is a niche. And if my name is a niche, then anything I pay attention to is a potential interest or field that I can jump into. So even if people know about me for podcasting on one time, I can talk about, romantic intimacy and connection in salons in another. I can talk about writing and fiction writing and lore building in another. I can talk about different forms of tech and VC stuff in another. Even my website is undefined in nature. My name is my niche, and therefore my interests and fields are unlimited. So you can never label me as one thing. There's no way the formula for the black guy applies to me. So I love this. The anti way of writing the same thing. So I am not a niche and never was. And cross-disciplinary is like one of those phases that I love seeing. So I love it when it's there. Yeah, and it's human. Okay. All in all, I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely write more about it in my own time in my Tonograph, because there's plenty more ideas. I thought I'd just make this quick video, but I really enjoyed it. I think this is a declaration that is justified and should be shared between everybody. that you should not define your work and your passion and your actions and your tasks and all of that um, aggregating to become your identity. You should not depend all of that on one thing. You should not be known as one thing. You should be known as many things, just as, the many friends that you've made throughout your life will know you for different impressions. We live based on, we know people based on the frozen impressions we have of them. So when we meet someone and then we know that they're interested in one thing, it freezes when we're away. And then months later we meet them again and then they're in a completely different thing. And that adds to the substance, that adds to the dynamic, that they're interested in many things. It also adds to the potential capability to make varied memories with them. And to be memorable is the niche. Like my niche is that I want to be memorable in a way where people know me for different things. Like I want my audience to get lost in all the things that I'm interested in, because navigating all of the experiences that I've gone through in all these different things is part of the experience I want to give them. It's just a matter of giving the tools to actually make it accessible, but that's all a whole other thing. But overall, I love this. Rob, keep writing. I want to read more of your writing. I love you, and I will see you on your next post.